You just lost someone's respect 3 minutes ago, and you smiled while it happened. Here's the scary part. You'll do it again today unless you listen to this. Look, I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to show you the invisible behaviors that are quietly destroying how people see you. Respect isn't lost in dramatic moments. It evaporates in micro behaviors you repeat every single day. These attitudes are silent assassins. And if you recognize yourself in even one of them, you're already bleeding respect. Let's fix it before it's too late. First up, the I already know syndrome. You're in a conversation, someone's explaining something, and before they can even finish their thought, you cut them off with, "Yeah, I know." Congratulations. You just signaled to them that their contribution is worthless. Here's why this kills you. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect in action. That's a cognitive bias where people with limited knowledge wildly overestimate their own competence. The smartest people in the room, they're asking questions. The loudest people just pretend they have all the answers. When you stop being curious, people stop seeing you as intelligent. They see you as insecure. Because truly confident people admit what they don't know. Arrogant people fake it, and everyone can tell the difference. Attitude number 2, victim energy. That constant vibe of, nothing ever works out for me. Of course, this happened to me. Why is everyone else so lucky? Listen, life is hard for everyone, but there's a massive difference between acknowledging a struggle and weaponizing it for attention. Psychologically, humans are wired to respect agency, people who take control of their own narrative. When you constantly frame yourself as helpless, others subconsciously pull away, not because they're cruel, but because victimhood is emotionally exhausting. Studies show chronic complainers activate the same stress response in listeners as an actual threat. You're not bonding through shared pain, you're just draining their energy. And respect walks right out the door with it. Number 3, subtle arrogance. This one's the silent killer. Forget the obvious narcissists. This is the stuff that slides by in conversation. It looks like turning every conversation back to yourself, giving advice that's really just you bragging in disguise, name-dropping to establish dominance, interrupting someone's story just to one-up it. Psychologists call this social dominance behavior. It's how insecure people try to feel superior. And here's the kicker. People will smile at you while you do it. They'll nod. They'll seem engaged, but internally, they have completely checked out. Respect doesn't come from speaking more. It comes from knowing when to shut up and let others shine. The most respected people in any room are often the quietest. And finally, number 4, constant complainer energy. Every job is terrible. Everyone is getting on my nerves. Every situation is unfair. If this is your default mode, you're not keeping it real. You're becoming toxic. Research on emotional contagion proves that negativity spreads faster and easier than positivity. When you complain constantly, you're not just venting. You are contaminating the entire emotional atmosphere around you. People don't avoid complainers because they're overly sensitive. They avoid them because their nervous system literally registers the interaction as draining. You become the human equivalent of a dead battery, and nobody wants to be around a dead battery. So here's the bottom line. These 4 attitudes aren't who you are. They're habits, and habits can be broken. The question isn't if you've done these things. You have. We all have. The real question is, what will you do next? In your very next conversation, will you listen or will you interrupt? Will you take ownership or will you place blame? Respect isn't demanded, it's earned. Let's continue with next attitude. Number 5, the people-pleasing trap. Now, this one is completely counterintuitive. Trying too hard to be liked actually makes people respect you less. Think about it. When you're the person who always agrees, always apologizes, always says yes, you think you're being kind. But what you're actually doing is teaching everyone around you that your boundaries are negotiable, that your opinions are flexible, that deep down you don't really stand for anything. Here's the psychology. We instinctively trust people who can say no. Why? Because it signals integrity. It shows they have standards. People pleasers might be loved for their convenience, but they are rarely respected for their character. Real respect grows from self-respect, and self-respect means you will have to disappoint people sometimes. If you've never made anyone uncomfortable by standing your ground, you're not respected, you're just useful. Okay, attitude number 6, the unaccountable blame shifter. You know the story. Your boss is unfair, your parents messed you up, your friends don't support you, society is rigged. Maybe all of that is true, but if that's your entire story, you've completely lost the plot. In psychology, there's a term for this, an external locus of control. It's the core belief that life happens to you, not because of you. And it is a respect killer because it just screams powerlessness. People are drawn to those who own their story, not those who rewrite it to escape responsibility. Accountability is a form of quiet power. It's a statement that says, I'm not perfect, but I am in control of my response. That is magnetic. Blame shifting? It's repellent. This brings us to attitude number 7, the invisible effort mistake. You work hard. You stay humble, you figure people will notice on their own. I'm telling you, they won't. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Respect doesn't come from silent suffering. It comes from visible integrity. If you're always hiding your effort because you don't want to seem arrogant, you're also hiding the very part of you that people could admire. This isn't about bragging, it's about presence. You have to show up. Speak clearly about what you value. Set standards for yourself and others. Let people see what you stand for. Because respect isn't given to the invisible. It's earned by those who make their principles impossible to ignore. And finally, attitude number 8, the inconsistency virus. This is the ultimate trust destroyer. You say you'll call, and then you don't. You promise to show up, and you're late. It's called the consistency principle. Humans don't judge you by your intentions. They judge you by your patterns. When your words don't match your actions, people don't get angry, they just stop believing you. You become the maybe person, the backup plan, the one they like but never, ever count on. The fix for this is radical honesty about your capacity. Learn to say no more so you can deliver more. Because every single time you do what you said you would do, you make a deposit in your credibility bank. And credibility is the absolute currency of respect. So listen, respect isn't something you beg for. It's something you command through your behavior. The moment you stop chasing validation from others and start living by your own principles, something fundamental shifts. You stop wondering if people respect you, because the answer becomes obvious. These attitudes, they aren't fatal personality flaws. They're just habits, and any habit can be broken. So ask yourself, right now, which one of these is quietly costing you respect? Find it, fix it, and watch how differently the world starts treating you.